Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. The season opener for the Tucson Roadrunners is this Friday night, one day after the Utah Mammoth open up their season. These are the players under contract for the Tucson Roadrunners. We're missing some big players that are with the Utah Mammoth in Kaylor Yamamoto and Andrew Agozzino. If those players do want to come or are forced to go to the Roadrunners, they'll have to go through waivers. So that's why I didn't put them on this board, because there is a chance they might get claimed. And last night they acquired Kevin Rooney, signed him to a contract. He's currently on waivers as I'm recording this video, but I'm taking the chance that he'll clear the waivers. They signed Rooney because they had Curtis Douglas, 6'8" centerman, claimed on waivers by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So it seems like Bill Armstrong and assistant general manager John Ferguson Jr. sort of scrambled to replace a centerman, and they go out and get Rooney, who played like 70 games in the NHL for the Calgary Flames last season. So that's pretty good input and injection of veteran presence into the Roadrunners. Will he be first line center? I'm not sure. These aren't the lines. It would be great if the Roadrunners employed a beat writer who would post their lineups for the preseason and in practice, but there's like zero reporting about the Roadrunners. So I put all the players down and we'll see how they move throughout the season. I'll have a quarter report for the Roadrunners, a mid-season report, and a sort of third report or like a playoff primer if they do make the playoffs. And at some point, the Roadrunners are going to have to become perennial playoff competitors. Last season, they squeaked into the playoffs the last game of the season, finishing 7th in their division, and 7 out of 10 teams in the Pacific somehow make the playoffs. It's pretty embarrassing, but they did make the playoffs. They lost in round 1 to the eventual champions, the Abbotsford Canucks. So I want the Runners, they got to start being a top 3 team and just a demon of a team to battle against. We got Daniel Boot, who's going to start in the American Hockey League. I have some big things for Boot. I'm hoping for big things. I think he played exceptionally well in those preseason games when he was facing other American Hockey League players. It seemed like he started to get unnoticeable, didn't have much of an impact on the game when he was facing NHL competition, like in those last 2 preseason games against the Kings and the Sharks. So hopefully he'll be the top scorer or one of the top scorers for the Roadrunners. Last season, the Roadrunners scored their most goals in franchise history. They had 4 20-goal scorers: Yamamoto, Agozzino, Hebig, and Sokolov. I believe Sokolov went over to Europe, so at least they still have Hebig, and Agozzino, Yamamoto are obviously with the Utah Mammoth, and they will have to clear through waivers to rejoin the Roadrunners. So there's a risk those 2 players might get taken. But if you add Yamamoto and Agozzino to this lineup, I'm pretty happy with the forward group. But at the end of the day, the Utah Mammoth prospects, they need to step up. Noel Nord, Allard, they started last year. They played like 1 or 2 games with the Roadrunners and they got sent down to juniors in the Ontario Hockey League. Matika had 13 points in 47 games played, and Lutz had 13 points in 47 games played. Matika had 2 points in 28 games played. So Lutz is a second-round pick. He's got to step up. Matika, I don't like that stat line either. 2 points in 28 games. So I want them to take that next step. Matika, coming from college 2 years ago, had his first year in the American Hockey League, didn't go so well. So now it's your second year. You know what it's all about. Need you to step up. Nord and Allard, they're hardworking players. I don't think they're going to bring that offense, but you never know in the American Hockey League. McGregor is there as a centerman. Ben McCartney, who had a pretty good preseason camp with Utah, he's a longtime Roadrunner. Poganski is there. He's like the captain. I just didn't know where to put him, and I'd rather focus on the prospects rather than like American Hockey League veterans. And I think you guys watching should just focus on the prospects on this team. They also signed 2 amateur players in Ricketts and Tullio as forwards. The defense is great. Lamoureux and Duda as your top pairing. I expect big things from Lamoureux. I'm sure he's slighted by not making the Utah Mammoth, even though like that's insane competition for the back end on Utah, where you have Ian Cole and DeSimone as sort of your press box defenseman. You got to beat out those guys. Perunovic acquired in free agency, going to be on second pair with Connaughton, a longtime NHL player, and now he's sort of turning into American Hockey League veteran. And then Zuber, still have Maximilian Zuber, and Onyebuchi, who's like that big enforcer, goon type player. Goldsmith would be taking Onyebuchi's spot, but he's currently on injured reserve. And Layden Moore, they signed to an amateur tryout as a defenseman. And then goalies, the usual suspects, they have them out for one more year. They have 1 year left on their contracts, Vialta and Stauber. Thornton, a prospect for Utah, he is also on injured reserve. Seems like this guy's always injured. I'm not sure how much runway he has left in his career. He used to be playing in those prospect tournaments, like 3 of them in a row, and then they didn't bring him to the last one. He's injured, played in the East Coast Hockey League last season. I just want him to play American Hockey League games, and it seems like it's just never happening. These are the stats last year. Obviously, 7th place, not a good win-loss record. Vialta didn't have a great year. It seemed like Stauber outplayed Vialta, even though Vialta was an all-star 2 seasons ago in the American Hockey League. Goals per game, really good, 3.17, but goals against was really bad at 3.29. Power play, pretty good, and PK, pretty good. I just want them to be a force. People are scared when they see them on the calendar, on their schedule. They just got to start building that winning culture in the American Hockey League. I don't know how many years left they have in Tucson. Sorry to say, I don't know. I don't trust the ownership. I don't think anyone does anymore. And they do have some really nice jerseys. Unfortunately, if you go out and buy one, that money is going to a certain family. So I will not be buying one, but I just hope for the best. Hope they have a great season, and stay tuned, stay locked on for this on this channel for updates on the Tucson Roadrunners. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word, and as always, thank you for your support.